Hair is getting so long. Holy cow. That's what staying at home will do to you. Hi guys, it's April. So the fact is that all of us are staying home right now. There are things going on in the great big wide world that requires us to stay confined within our houses, apartments, places of rest, at whatever you want to call where you're currently at. And with that, the Reading Rush has decided to do a mini readathon starting the 16th and going through the 19th, which means this is a TBR. Now this TBR is going to be a little different because with the announcement video of this readathon, they also kind of did a tag thing attached to it, and I figured I'd quickly go through those questions and then get to my TBR because that is literally the last question of the tag. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are all staying home right now. In fact, that is what this readathon is called. I don't even know if I mentioned the name of this readathon. It's the Stay Home Reading Rush. It is pretty much like a mini reading rush. It's got challenges, it's got Instagram challenges, it's gonna have reading sprints and all that kind of stuff. All the information is on the website as well. And once everything is back up and working on the website, you will be able to add your badges to your profile. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm kind of a type A with those kind of things in which I need all of them. I need to collect all of them. So this is a little bit dangerous, to be honest. But I'm just gonna jump into the questions and then get to the TBR. And the first question is simply asking how your reading is going now that we're all confined in quarantine, staying at home. And to be honest, my reading hasn't really changed. The fact is I am still working, so I still have a 40-hour work week, which means I still have the same amount of reading time that I had before. I don't have my commute, so I don't have that audio listening time, but I still have some of that embedded within inside of my workday, and I still have my work breaks in which I read stuff. But honestly, my reading really hasn't changed that much. And then of course, with all of that, where am I reading? That hasn't really changed either. I mean, I'm not reading in my car anymore. My car hasn't been used in about a month. I don't even know if that's true, but it feels like about a month. That's probably accurate. I'm mainly reading in the living room. I'm reading in the bedroom. I'm reading in the bathroom. I'm reading wherever my phone is at and where I am at. I'm thinking about doing a bingo card in which I try to read in every room of the house. I think that could be fun, a little disturbing, but fun. But the best book that I have read since being in isolation, which is the next question for this tag, is volume 8 of Girl from the Other Side. This released as the whole stay-at-home orders started. Luckily, I pre-ordered this before everything else happened, and then I received it and I read it, and I really love this series. It was a little harder to get through because it has a lot of stuff that is very relevant to everything that's going on right now, if I'm honest. But I still really enjoy the character dynamic and all of this and just the whimsical fairy tale feel that this manga gives off. So this is by far my favorite read so far since I've been stuck at home. But I also, before I move on to the next question, I also have to mention King of Crows. I finally read the last book in the Diviners series, and I really, truly enjoyed that. Not just because it's got that really creepy feel to it and it's got supernatural elements involved, but the fact that my state actually has a prominent feature in this book, and that doesn't happen very often. So I got kind of excited about that. But I mean, the story was good too. And then with all of us being stuck and worried about mental health and all that kind of stuff going on, the next question is, what is a feel-good book that you like to read? Now, I don't know if this is necessarily a feel-good book for everybody, but it is a book that I constantly go back to because I just get the warm fuzzies when I read it. It's just something I really enjoy. And that, of course, is Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. A lot of times I will skip the first half of this book because I know what happens, and that's more of the hard part to read because a lot of bad things happen. But the last half of the book, after she goes through some stuff and she's sewing sweaters for her brothers, that is the part I love the most. After she is discovered by Red and his crew, then I usually pick up there and I start to watch that relationship form, and I think that's why I love this book so much, and I just like seeing that development. So that's why sometimes when I want to reread this book, I just start in the middle of it. It happens. Now for a book I wish I had either bought or from the library, even though a lot of bookstores and libraries are closed. And to be honest with you, that would probably be the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This book was released last month, but I didn't pre-order it, and then with how everything hit, It's just not realistic to buy it at this time. It is something that I want on my bookshelves in the future. I did just receive it from the library. It's not on the TBR for this readathon because I didn't know I was going to have it. It might slip into my reading during this weekend. But right now, it's not on the TBR, but it is something that I really want to get my hands physically on because his style of writing is just absolutely amazing, which leads me to the next little prompt in this tag, and that's just to shout out an author. And right now, Grady Hendrix, he is my main man. He is the guy who has the forefront in my brain because this book I need to read, and I love all the books he's done before. He's done Horror Store, and he's also done My Best Friend's Exorcism, which does take place in the same town as the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. So it's going to be interesting to see how those kind of play off of each other. That finally leads me into what is my actual TBR for this readathon. There are 4 challenges. One is to read a book with a house on the cover. The other one is to read a book all in the same room, read a book with a place you wish to go, and read a book that makes you smile. I have 3 books picked out, and they will kind of all cover those challenges in various different ways. And the first one is, I believe this is volume 8. Yes, this is volume 8 of the Sandman, World's End. It's got a little house on the cover there, and that's kind of why I picked up this one. Plus it's short because my other 2 reads are a little on the longer side, so I wanted at least to finish one book in one challenge and see where things go from there. The next book I am going to try to read over the 4 days of the readathon is Comeback, a K-pop novel. I want to read this one because it has been one of those lifelong goals at some point in my life to go to Korea. It's just something that I've always wanted to do. I've always been big into seeing that part of the world, and so I figured this one would be good. Plus, I think that this one will make me smile at points, so that's why this one is thrown in. I don't necessarily know which book I'm going to read all in one spot. It's probably honestly going to end up being Sandman because it is so short and it'll be easy to do. But that then brings me into the last read that I'm going to pick up for this readathon, and that is Looking Glass. This is a novella. It's a set of novellas that are Alice in Wonderland inspired. I believe it's actually part of a series, and I didn't realize that before I got the review copy, but we'll see how that goes. I'm supposed to review this, which is why I need to read it before the release date. So I kind of had to throw this into this because otherwise I wasn't going to get it read. Sometimes I just like to click buttons, and this is what happens. But that's kind of what I'm aiming for. I might, like I said, be reading Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. That is such a mouthful. It's hard to get out continuously, but I might be picking that up as well. So if you're interested in seeing how all of it goes down, I highly recommend you subscribe so you can be notified when I upload any kind of nonsense that is associated with this readathon. I don't know if I'm going to be participating in the Instagram challenges. I might. I have them listed out just in case. Right now my bookcases are kind of in flux. We've got some construction going on for my future office area, and so that's kind of leaving everything in a little bit of a mess. So I don't know if I will quite get to the pictures. But if you are participating in this readathon, tell me down below. Tell me what you're going to be reading, or if you have a TBR up, link it so I can go and stalk you. And like I said, if you want to keep up to date with every time I upload, subscribe down below, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.